testing himself on the world-class stage. He was a world-class junior, and now he's transitioning into a world-class senior. There he is in the Hoka singlet, wearing that Pacers bib. You'll see him once this race gets underway, but look at these elites filing themselves at Dean Casey, the Ennis Track Club. We're going to mention him for winning that B race last year. Paul Chelimo donning the Kibrom brand sponsor. An interesting story there. Usually we see Nike, Adidas on running, of course. We have to mention sponsoring this event. It's usually the routine way to go, James. They'll sponsor athletes. Athletes will wear their brand, you know, around Europe and around the world. But Chelimo signed with Decathlon. Kibrom is basically Decathlon's brand. And is there a space for that as the sport grows, that we start to see retailers sign athletes as opposed to just single brands?
Oh, there's definitely going to be growth, and they just need to develop the shoes, don't they? Because that's what athletes are going to need to run in predominantly, unless it is obviously a kit-based, retail outlet, which often they do. But yeah, fascinating. I think more the better for athletes. If there's obviously more money in the sport, more investment, then obviously more athletes are sponsored and they can go full-time and standards are driven up. So what about the British Championships in this? We saw a phenomenal women's championship in the Brits. Men's, Andrew Bouchard, the Scottish record holder. You always get a good effort from Andrew Bouchard, don't you? So who else? There's obviously a few missing. You know, obviously, there's no Jack Rowe this year, no Jake Smith. But yeah, there's another load of strong Brits in there. And to add, no Jack Rowe. No Sam Aiken as well, no Emil Caress. And these are athletes who I think could have a good shot at attacking, perhaps not 27:10, but definitely 27:30. But the problem is, James, I think they're very fixated on the 5K at the moment, and so they should be, the level they're operating at. And obviously Emil was fixated on the marathon. Oh, and rightly so. And what a performance in London, just a couple of seconds outside the fastest British athlete of all time in their debut, just outside Steve Jones's record from a few years ago, but low 28 minutes for Emil Caress. And yeah, what a great performance. And obviously, some passing of the guards now. The baton's been passed. Sir Mo is going to be hanging them up, isn't he? Running in Manchester tomorrow, and the Great North to finish his career. And then obviously the likes of Chris Thompson trackside today, watching but not racing. So yeah, it could be the Mohammed brothers could be stepping it up tonight. That'd be great to see. But I'm fascinated to see what Andrew Bouchard can run. He's been training, a lot of high altitude. Obviously, still a big friend of Samo, and been putting some great miles in with him up in altitude. So yeah, what can he run? But yeah, there's a couple of youngsters that will be interested to see what they can step up to. Yeah, and I think he learned a lot from Farah, the way Farah transitioned to the longer distances. I mean, obviously Farah was transitioning to the marathon, but even just to surround yourself with multiple Olympic champion, multiple world champion over the distance, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to understand the way he trains. And I thought last year, Bouchard put out a 36 performance. Thought that was very solid. And can he go one better this year and start to crack that 27:30 barrier? Yeah, and coached by Gary Locke, and Gary knows his 10,000 meter running. Obviously, Paula Radcliffe smashing multiple records over that distance. So let's see what Andrew Bouchard can run tonight. 25 laps of the Parliament Hill track, and we're off. Last race of tonight's program. And again, how close to that 27-minute mark. But we're looking, aren't we, more at the World Championship time that's a few seconds slower than that.
Well, I've got a big smile on my face because I love the way Andy Bouchard has just pushed his way to the front. That just so much experience, the way that, he didn't have the best line, but he cut in, and that was just typical Andy Bouchard. Elbows out, and look at the position he's got himself into there. That's absolutely brilliant for Bouchard. And do you know what? That's championship experience. This man's competed at the highest level. He was, 6th in Rio in the Olympic Games, or was he 11th in Tokyo, or 8th or 9th in Tokyo as well, around about that top 10. So he's been there, he's done it, and now he's looking, can he transition to the 10K? But he's also been talking about the possible transition to the marathon as well. So he was at London, and there were laughs and jokes, but having stepped to the half marathon, he's done a bit of pacing. That's why he was in London. I can see the marathon being possible next step, but I would still love him to run a little bit faster than he has run for 10K. And I think that 5K, those World and Olympic 5K finals show that that there's a little bit more in there over the 10K distance than his 27:36 PB. Yeah, and I feel like he went slightly under the radar when he set that Scottish record. It wasn't, because it was set over in America. I don't feel like I saw as many people shout about it as maybe we've seen, when Eilish has taken down the records over the past couple of years. But he looks in a really good place. Look at the position he's got himself up to. He looks really strong. Also give a mention to speak about him pacing at the marathon. me and you, Matt, we saw Ellis cross pacing at Copenhagen last week, and he's an athlete who looks really strong as well. And he had a lot of confidence, taking on that pacing role in Copenhagen, and he's one to keep an eye on today for the British champs.
The other thing we probably should have mentioned with the women's race, what would that have been like with Eilish McCullough?
Oh, I thought about it and thought,
she obviously has the World Championship qualifying performance. Obviously, we expect her to run London. That might have changed things, but Eilish in there, would she have gone with that? I think she would have. Would she have closed it out? I mean, her last 400 when she ran that 30 flat in California was 63 seconds. So yeah, that would have been great to have seen Eilish in that race.
Oh man, she's learning to compete with the best, and I think she is world-class level now, Eilish. And I think the next step for her is, can she go to a major champs and get a medal? And I'm sure that's in the back of her mind, looking ahead to Budapest. Look, one story evolving here. Paul Chelimo, he's gone off quite conservatively. He's in that second pack. I know athletes come here and they like to announce, they're in great shape, but sometimes they almost have to say that. They're not going to say they're in bad shape, are they? So be interested to see if he slowly drifts up. James, sometimes you will see this with world-class athletes, is they will just kind of sit back a little bit to stay engaged. When they move up, it's just them staying engaged to keep their mind active. There he is in the pink singlet, just on the outside there. So he's in good company. He's got a stack of Israeli athletes done in the on singlet as well.
Yeah, we've gone through the first kilometre, and yeah, it's about just trying to settle down the pace, and it's just trying to find that line and find someone that you're happy sitting behind as well. Certain runners to run behind sometimes, but yeah, I think it's about settling down these opening laps, and it's okay the first couple of laps if you don't run too aggressively. It's a long way, the 10-kilometre race, so yeah, that's absolutely fine. Much better do that than run way too aggressively the first couple of laps, and then you've got nothing left in the latter stages.
And I think he is just very slowly moving up. Someone I need to mention is Tazawa. He was 20th at the 10K World Championships last year. The Japanese athlete studies out in Japan as well, and I believe he runs for the yogurt brand. And if you're familiar with Japanese running, you know how it operates. It operates on a very corporate basis, so you don't really run for a club, you run for a major business.
Yeah, he's an athlete who I was told to keep an extra eye out for this morning. I was talking to one of our colleagues who works at Athletics Weekly, and he was saying that there's quite a big contingent of Japanese press who have come over because they feel like he could do something special here tonight, and they want to keep an eye on him. So definitely in that blue Nike singlet, he's one to keep an eye on. He's tucked in there in quite a nice position at the minute. Well,
he's got a personal best of 27.28, so no wonder they've flown over, because if he runs at 27.10, that would be some historic feat for Japanese running. Well,
that's his season's best. Actually, his personal best is just slightly quicker than that, 27.23, and he'll be looking to get close to that tonight. And what's he saying? Is he second in there now behind Andy Butchart, second, third?
Yeah, he's a quality runner. He's a former Asian Games under-20 silver medalist, so he's come through the age groups. 13.22, also over 5 kilometres this year. Yeah, I mean, the Japanese running scene is just phenomenal. When if you look at what they run at college, their collegiate level, and their corporate relays, the Ekiden relays, but then they have half marathon races where it's hundreds of people inside 63 minutes, 62 minutes. Absolutely phenomenal. So talking about being phenomenal, let's slow down to Rachel Stringer, who's trackside.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Well, I've got the woman of the moment, back-to-back British champion here at this event, Jessica Warner-Judd. Congratulations out there. We're just chatting off camera. You said that was a tough race tonight.
Yeah, it was really hard. Obviously, you're going every race to win, but I only needed top 2 Brits, so that was what I was sort of focused on. But yeah, no, it was hard. Mentally, it was really hard because a lot of moves made and stuff, but yeah, I'm really happy.
What was the race plan going into that? Obviously, is it kind of to sit on the paces? They went off pretty fast.
Yeah, the top group went off fast. I think it was just to be around wherever the second Brit was, because I knew that was what I needed. So that happened to be Sam, so I thought I'd just sit behind Sam, and then we ended up catching up, and then there were lots of bodies around, so it was just trying to match what was happening and then just try and get that British champion, because yeah, that's the standards moved on, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it.
Obviously, World Championship, looking ahead to Budapest later on the year. How are you feeling with still a few months to go?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. This was the one I was more worried about. I think in a couple of months I'll be even better. Like, I know that I'll get sharper as the season goes on. This is really early. So this is the one I was worried about. So yeah, I'm just so happy to get that ticked off, and now I can just focus on Budapest.
And in terms of this race as well, Jess, we talk about it as the Glastonbury of athletics, that lactic tunnel of love out there. What is it like for you, who's come from the cross countries, the old school athletics side of things, to come and run an event like this?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, yeah, I remember falling over actually as an under-13 on Parliament Hill when I did the Southern. So to come like full circle and be back here, and it's such a great event. Like, there's people with their dogs and families that were just walking by and come in and watched, and they were asking what it was all about. And that's what we need. We need the sport to just grow. It's not just about being in people's homes, it's about being in people's lives. You know, if they can come and experience it, then maybe they might want to give it a go. So yeah, it's just, Ben has done such a great job building this event, and I'm so lucky to be a part of it.
Well, a brilliant run from you, Jess. Back-to-back British champion, like I mentioned. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Rachel. Some brilliant words there from Jess. She's bang on. It's not just about being in people's homes, but also in their lives, and running is a large part of some of these gentlemen's lives. I mean, Ifrem Gidey, a word on him. He's just back there in the blue and orange singlet. He fled a war-torn Eritrea at just 15 over to Ireland, and you know, as the story goes, James, so many PE teachers are to thank for getting athletes into this sport, taking them down their local club. And Gidey actually wanted to be a cyclist once upon a time, and he realised the expense of a bike and said, you know what, I'll try my luck at running, and the rest is pretty much history. He's here today, and he's in good form. He won at the Bristol Track Club 5K, a relatively low key for that man. There he is in shot, 12 on the side of his hip as well, but he's, rumours has it, spoke to his agent before, and he wants to target that 27:30. He's in great shape.
Well, that would be, I think, a new Irish record as well, so that would be great running. And it's great to see his progression as well. I think Ireland looking to send a strong team to that European Cup in 2 weeks as well. But yeah, Johnny Davis doing a great job at the front, just dropping off that pace group. Nils Voigt, who was, I think he was fourth here in 2021, when in the personal best of 27:49 that day, pipping Sir Mo Farah. But the German, you can just see in the blue singlet, just in that chase group behind. But it is the blue singlet of Johnny Davis at the front. So they're going to be coming down towards 3 kilometres. And at the moment, Davis doing a really good job with the, there's a line, isn't there, of athletes behind him, Matthew?
Well, I think they were through 3K already, James, and there's a big old line, and one man to keep an eye on is Chelimo. He's just drifted his way up to the front, and they're clipping off 65s for fun. I think Johnny Davies at the front now. He probably would have liked Joe Wigfield to go just a little bit further, you know, and he looks like he may even be struggling a little bit himself. It's no surprise coming off of a long-haul flight from America, where he set his new personal best of 13:16, and looking ahead to a strong track season as well. He's probably here, he's helping out, but he's going to be up against it now, as similar to Adane. It's Bira who's hit the front literally just after 3K and decided he wants to move things along now.
Yeah, Bira has done exactly the same, gone past the pacer, and it isn't it a little exchange of looks almost by Johnny Davis, as if to say, I'm the pacer. Do you want me to keep going at the front, or as we had in the women's race, that the athlete just ran away from the pacer after they felt that they'd done enough of the job. So Paul Chelimo right there, the American Olympic bronze medalist. So he's looking to make some major strides over 10,000 meters tonight. So, you know, and he's such a smooth runner as well. We've been talking about running mechanics tonight. Paul Chelimo is one of those.
Yeah, it's a discipline. I think he's still learning. We know what he can do over the 5K, especially at a championship level. He can close very, very hard, and I think, you know, he's showing his experience, because he knows that not to panic. I mean, he's been running alongside some of the best in the world for years in these sorts of races that are set up to run fast, and the key is staying relaxed and not surging. I mean, in relative terms, it's still very early days in this race. They haven't even hit halfway now, and there you go. Johnny Davies steps off the track. He's done his dues out there today, and it's all over to the athletes now, and Abira out in front is going to move things along. He's got the red lights to key off, and I'm sure he's well aware of those lights operating around about that 27:10 mark, but we could well have 3 athletes just starting to break away, James.
So it's Mogus Abira in the lead, 10th in the World Cross Country Championships this year. I mean, that shows you, talked about early in the women's race, top 20 is quality, top 10 is, yeah, phenomenal running. He's a 27-23 athlete on the road, and he's run 60-11 for half marathons, so he's got a great engine above, you know, below and at cross country. So no surprise at the moment, they're going through 4 kilometers, that they are running very, very strongly, and probably just around about the what, the 27:30 mark.
Absolutely, and you know, well, 27:10 mark, James, in fact. But yeah, you know, to add to his credentials, he won the African Games last year over 10,000 meters, and yeah, you're no slouch if you do that, that's for sure. So the next split we'll get will be that 4K split as they just come round.
I've just seen probably one of the first sights since the gun of Getahon Ayale, who's working his way back up the field there. I think just become disconnected with that group. Bronze at the marathon and the European Championships. He got a personal best here last year, and he'll be wanting to better that. He's one of the ones that I've got an eye on. And he started on the inside, and I thought maybe he might have made a move slightly earlier, but he's reconnected to the back of this group now and is starting to work his way through it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a 2:05 marathon best, so yeah, probably using that amount of strength that he's got in those legs, not to be too aggressive in the early stages. And the former Ethiopian, now running for Israeli, is getting back onto that group, or trying to get back onto that group. But Andrew Bouchard, you can see him on the back of that group, Matt. That is great to see.
That's exactly what I was looking at, James. It's very, very encouraging. We know he took it out hard. These men are just slacking off the pace a little bit, and Bouchard showing that he's not scared of this distance. He's not going to fear it, and I think when you get to his level, it's kind of like do or die. He doesn't want average performances. He could play it safe and maybe set off at 27:40, 27:45 pace, and I think he's turned up here today and he's just thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to attack that World Championship mark. If I don't get it, I don't get it. I'll move on.
The next big split is going to be the halfway point, 5 kilometers, and that will really signal, you know, the start of this race in terms of the early laps are being clipped out. You know, it's getting really competitive now. There's such a strong international field there, isn't there, Matt, in terms of the nationalities, but you can now start to see a few gaps, and athletes have to make choices. They have to make decisions whether to go, whether to close it, or whether to sit back and you know, wait for them to come back to them.
Yeah, but look who's on the shoulder now, just behind our leader.
That's it, Paul Chelimo. When it matters, he's there, and we're going to get that 5K split. 13:35 will be bang on, obviously, 27:10 pace. Simple maths for you at home, so they're near enough, and Chelimo's going to hit the front, and perhaps a little bit early, but he has got to get that standard. He's had a few performances which have been up and down the last few years, I think that's fair to say, and he has got to nail this standard today, so he's not going to mess about, and he's here to do business. He
says he feels, you know, we're speaking, like you said, Matt, before, to some of the people, some of the Highgate Harriers who've been taking him around London these past few days, and they said he's been feeling good. He's feeling ready to attack. And also, it's Andy Butchart. I feel like Andy Butchart's worked his way up quite a bit. He looked towards the back of that group, but he has started to work his way up as some of the athletes who we saw closer to the front start to drop back. But this is a brilliant run from Andy Butchart.
Andy Butchart is running very strongly, but just maybe now just starting to drop off that group. And it's Paul Chelimo, who 65 seconds on that last lap, looks really good. He's looking over. He's got a great personality, again, just so strong, and this is something that, yeah, moving up distance from, you know, it's a sub-13-minute 5K athlete, you know, obviously, yeah, having been to, you know, on the podium at the Olympic Games, this now is about him putting a time down over the 25 laps, and he's starting to ask some early questions.
Yeah, and I think, you know, not just about him putting a time down, but also showing the likes of Grant Fisher, who's at home, Joe Klecker. We know America have very, very good talent over the 10,000, and he's going to have to go up against those boys in the trials, and I think he's just going to put the question to them and just say, here you are, boys, this is what I can do, you know, what can you do?
Yeah, he's eased into this one, he's shown his strength. And like we said, you know, there were some doubts over his fitness before this. We didn't know if he'd come into it the favourite, but
Nakan Romana is the athlete chasing the Burundi athlete. So think back to Vastine Neon-Garbo, maybe before your time, Matthew, an Olympic gold medalist in Atlanta over 5,000 metres, and a Burundi legend. And there's an athlete right there now chasing fast times over 10 kilometres. But let's go down to Rachel, who's trackside.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Well, the atmosphere down here is incredible. You can just hear the crowd in the lactic tunnel of love just behind me. But I've found Ryan Hall. He's a content creator from Liverpool. He's a Scouser. I'm going to say Ryan runs, but he's not a runner. Is that accurate, Ryan?
That is pretty accurate, but my fastest 5K is 19 minutes, so you've got to pat me on the back somewhere.
Solid work. So obviously you've come here tonight and to enjoy what's going on here. What have you made of it so far? It's probably not what you expected.
It's been amazing, it's full of laughter. Everyone's laughing, smiling, happy. I'm grateful for my friends on running, inviting me down. I couldn't be happier myself. Everyone, no matter the competition within the race, everyone's just happy, and that's what I'm about, happiness.
Has it inspired you to do a little bit more running?
Of course it has. I'm going to go home and I'm going to run my fastest 5k. I'm going to beat it. I'm going to beat yours as well, 18 minutes.
Have you seen who is in this race as well? Have you taken note of the field here? Obviously, you've got Paul Chelimo. He's leading at the moment. He's a double medalist from the Olympic Games as well. It's such a stacked field. The fact that you can get such up close and personal to these athletes. Did you expect that from this weekend?
I didn't expect that, no, but I'm very grateful for that opportunity. Being up next to them, it's very nice to feel that competitiveness and to know where athletes like that stand. And I am one day going to race them.
Ryan, I want to hear a bit more about you, though. You're a content creator. What kind of content do you create?
I create all types of content. My content mainly surfaces around me being me, so that involves me just going around and making people smile. I love it. When I can make someone smile for 15 seconds of the day, it's the most favourite thing about my job.
Is this going on YouTube?
This will be going on YouTube.
Well, you can find Ryan then on YouTube talking about the night of the 10Ks, and hopefully it makes you smile. Ryan, thank you so much for chatting to us, and have a wonderful rest of your night.
No, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Rachel. And this is dramatic stuff now happening. Paul Chelimo was a lap ago waiting and waving and asking athletes to maybe do something, and then he decided to go, Matt.
Yeah, I think he was just sussing them out, just seeing if they were going to be there for the long run, and I don't think they are. Chelimo now, he knows he's on the red lights, he's just going to operate at them. I think he is going to relax over these next few laps, over the next couple Ks, because this man can close. I mean, we've seen him run 52, 53 second laps at the end of a 5,000 race, at the end of a 10,000 race for fun. And, you know, you're not a two-time Olympic medalist if you can't do that, and obviously a world medalist as well.
Yeah, and he's coming up to see 8 laps to run, so that's 2 miles, give or take, of the Parliament Hill track. Another 65-second lap, so he's maintaining the pace. And the next bit we're going to get, Ellen, on the back straight is 7 kilometres.
Yeah, just having a look back down the order for the British contingent. Andy Butchart still leading the way, obviously, now with this injection of pace for him. Chelimo's drifted well out of shot here, but he's still leading the way in the British Championships, and it's Zach Mohammed who is in second place at the minute. He has a personal best of 29.14, and he's running well within that. We thought, you know, that he might be the one of the 2 brothers who would come out on top, obviously racing alongside his brother Mohammed. And he's going to take a huge chunk of this, as expected. And yeah, so he's currently second in the British Champs.
Well, thank you, Alan. Yeah, and that split there, Matt, 2:43, 19:02, 7 kilometres, strong running.
He's hanging on there, he's just slipping off a little bit. He's going to need the support of the crowd, he's going to need to soak up the atmosphere, because he's on his own now, Chelimo, and I think he knows that deep down. And do you know what, he's probably just going to hold a little something back for that last K, just in case someone comes back on his shoulder and he needs to be able to respond. 66, probably the slowest lap of the race.
Yeah, if he's going to break 27 minutes, he kind of needs 64 seconds a lap, unless he has got a big last lap. But maybe just the first signs of fatigue, a little grimace. I think it's a grimace rather than a smile,
It's
Matt,
definitely a grimace.
Maybe it's a little bit of both. But yeah, it's almost like his head down, almost looks like a boxer now, or like someone going through a range of emotions.
Well, one thing I would say is Chelimo is a bit of a gamesman, and what a moment this is going to be for Dean Casey, albeit he's getting lapped by one of the best to ever take to the 5,000 metres in this distance, but he's going to have to soak it up, Casey. I mean, he won last year, he's been chucked in the deep end tonight, and he's going to experience what it's like to be overtaken by Paul Chelimo.
Isn't this a great example of what Highgate can do for young athletes? Dean Casey winning in the B race last year in emphatic fashion. It was one of my favourite races of the day, and now, yeah, like you said, he's being lapped here, but he'll be absolutely soaking it up. He'll be loving this. Look, he looks to the side. He'll be living every minute of this.
And he's also chasing down one of our biggest young talents coming through. That's Henry McCluskey. He's making his 10,000 metre debut today on the track, but he's obviously still running at a very good pace. If you think Paul Chelimo is heading towards low 27 minutes, you know, with a few laps to go in front of him, the young Sharcy Barnett's running well, Matt.
Well, he is indeed, and you know, Casey and McCluskey, they well may face off at the European Under-23 Championships later in the year if McCluskey chooses to do that. Is this a step too far for McCluskey? Well, we're going to find out, because he's fresh off a 13:36, 5,000 metres, like you say, James, which is terrific running. you know, for his age, and this could be a stretch too far for him tonight. But sticking at his task for competing with the likes of Ellis Cross, Richard Allen as well, so well amongst it at the moment. But Chelimo now just slipping off that pace as we move into the closing stages of this race.
Mogo Sabera is the athlete trying to give chase, and yeah, he was one of the early aggressors, but at the moment, you know, you can't really see him on the screen there, so Paul Chelimo is maintaining it. The noise of the crowd is absolutely vital now, Ellen, isn't it? They're going to play their part in this theatre.
Yeah, I've seen they might even play their part in the British Championships as well, because Zach Mohammed is now just behind Andy. Well, I say just behind. He's a position going down that really impressive first half of his race, but has he done enough to hold off the charge of Zach Mohammed, who is coming in quickly behind him?
Well, there we are. Zach Mohammed, I guess, the better on the track of the two brothers. Mohammed dominates the cross-country circuit, but Zach, I feel, has a little bit more talent, a little bit more natural ability, I suppose, when it comes to track. We've seen him perform at the British University Championships, and there goes Chelimo, drifting past McCluskey. I mean, this man was, you know, born and raised in Kenya, moved over to America, if you like, joined the world class, joined the Army, and then gained his US citizenship that way and joined the world class Army program out there, where he trained, lives in Colorado Springs, and he's got a great group out there as Chelimo, and he's clearly getting back to his very best, but he's gonna have to lift it if he wants to get anywhere near that world championship mark.
Yeah, there's definitely been pain etched over his face over the last few laps. The noise of the crowd here is building and building, and it is a festival of running here. This is such a great event. We've had multiple heats of the 10,000 meter distance, so many personal bests sprinkled in with some junior 800 meter races, and the juniors will be trackside now watching this, soaking it up, watching the very best. And there on the back straight, some of our British athletes. That's Jack Gray in the Cambridge and Coleridge vest. He's a top athlete, isn't he, Ellen?
He's a brilliant athlete. He's an athlete that I know well from my time in Cambridge. He's got a very distinctive running style, but he was talking about it the other day. He's like, why change? It works for me. He sticks to his guns, and here he is once again performing at the top level of British athletics. And he'll be another athlete, I'm sure, when Paul Chelimo cruises past him, he'll actually soak it up and he'll love it.
I think so, and yeah, a credible athlete himself, second at the English National Cross Country Champs earlier in the year. So here goes Chelimo down. Look at that, lit up through that tunnel. He's going to enjoy that. The fireworks off every single lap now. 3 laps to go. James, he's going to need to operate well. He could be inside that standard. He's got to run, what, 3:07? He's got to start clipping off 62s now. Yeah,
it's another 66. It's just dropping ever so slightly every single lap. The chase behind Matt, but I don't think they're going to get back to him. I think Paul Chelimo's got enough in his locker, and I think he's definitely got, you know, another gear if he needs it. But, you know, the crowd now are going to be so important. But you're right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how far the lights are in front of him. They were set at 27:10, you know, on the red light. But he's also got a bit of traffic to navigate as well.
Well, you know, 2:46 there. You could see him run. I mean, so what does he need? 2:25. My maths isn't great, but I don't need to worry about that. We'll see when he comes around with 800 to go. But you can see him closing in at 56, James, no problem at all. And, you know, he's going to be closing well sub 60. Here he goes then, fighting around Ellis Cross. He's certainly going to have to kind of fight himself around Jack Gray there with the arms, the distinct style of Jack Gray.
This battle just behind Paul Chelimo now is the battle for 3rd place in the British Championships, and you've got 3 men there who could be fighting it out. Jack Gray leading the way at the minute, but it could be very, very close for that bronze medal in the British Champs.
That's a fascinating battle in the Brits, but the battle up front is to get that World Championship qualifying time, 27:10. He's gone through 25:08 with 2 to run, so that means a 2:01 last 800. That's almost 4-minute flat pace, but it sounds a tall ask. It's just whether he can rally this lap to a 3 and come home with something like a 57:58, which he can do, but maybe fatigue's just jumping on him now.
I think he's building. You can see, you know, that close-up of his eyes. He's focused on every single step in front, his stride, his running form right now, but he is going to know. And this is one thing, you know, we know the lights work. They're brilliant when you're on them, when you're gaining the confidence, but when they're drifting away from you, how does that you know, how do you cope with that mentally when you can see the race slipping away from you, even when you're in such a strong position like Chelimo is now leading this race with a lap to go? What does he need? About a 56. Is it last lap? 55 even. He's going to have to go some. We're going to have to see some fireworks, Chelimo.
Oh, it's going to be tough, really tough to run that last lap in around about 55 seconds. But I tell you what, he has the speed in those legs. But, you know, this is the hardest 10,000-metre run he's ever done. And he's been operating at such a speed throughout. It's going to be tough, Ellen.
It's going to be hard work, but you can hear the high-grade crowd are pushing him on, and he's found another gear. You can see it there. He's found another gear, and he is pushing it. Will it be enough? Will it be too little, too late for finding that qualifying standard?
Come on, Paul Chelimo. Find another gear. An Olympic medalist, a sub-13-minute 5K runner. The USA athlete is coming into the final turn here at Parliament Hills, and here in the Highgate, 9 of the 10,000-metre PBs. He's going to break the record here. He's going to smash Cripper's record. He's just going to miss the World Championship time. 27:12.7. Oh, a 58:06 last lap. 2:36 last kilometre. Good, but just not quite good enough for that World Championship A standard.
Exactly that. But hey, and you think, you know, the grimace on his face, that almost like, why? You know, he threw his hands up, he's celebrating there, but I think, you know, in the back of his mind, he's thinking, imagine if Stanley Maburu was here today, this World Championship silver medalist. He was due to turn up. Of course, he was a late dropout, and just if he had a bit of competition over those last few laps, Ellen, you've got no doubt in your mind he would have gone under that 27:10.
Yeah, absolutely. Stanley Mburu's personal best, 27:13. But, you know, you look at that performance that he did out at Worlds, that surprise silver medal, and you just think if the two of them could have worked together to drag themselves round, we could have seen a different race tonight. And you can see everyone coming through and collapsing onto the floor. It's a hard effort out there. We'll wait to see the Brits come through, try and get a glimpse of them as they cross the line. Obviously, we've got the British champs at play as well. Andy Butchart, last time we checked, was well in the lead. Zach Mohammed was in second, and then there was that brilliant battle for third. As you can see, the Japanese athlete down there.
Yeah, Vincent Mutai got up for second, the 28-year-old Kenyan. So, and a good battle. Getahon, the Israeli athlete, there in third place, unofficially, obviously, till we get the official results, because sometimes the chips on their feet don't activate the devices they cross the line, so we'll get an update on that. But some quick times, and it looks like Mohammed was a shade inside 28 minutes, so around about 27:56.
A huge PB. His time had set before 29:14, so we knew he'd take a chunk off it, and he has done.
That really is a massive run from Zach Mohammed out there, as you just see the closing shots of Paul Chelimo. He is your race winner, your final race of the evening here at the night of 10,000-metre Ps, and what a way to finish.
But in that top 10, we had the USA, Kenya, Israel, we had Burundi, Japan, the Norwegian Kibrom ran a lifetime best. You know, the athlete that's run here previously, but he ran a superb run, and he's run 27:40 tonight, 27:41 I think it might be, the European silver medalist from Munich. A superb bit of running, and we had Saudi Arabia also in that top lot as well. And Andrew Bouchard, 27:47 is the British champion, Ellen.
Yeah, it looks like it came right down to the line for third place. It looks like Ellis Cross just got there marginally, fractionally ahead of Jack Gray. Well, I'm going to have to find a replay of that somewhere, that crossing, that battle for third and how those two crossed the line.
So, Matt, Andrew Bouchard just outside his Scottish record, but he really went for it tonight. I was so impressed with that. Would have been a tired second half, but he is the British champion. And yeah, I think he can take a little bit of you know, confidence from that.
Well, I hope he does, because I hope he looks at it and thinks, well, if I pace myself a little bit better, how quick could I have gone? Could I have broken 27:30? But like I said during the race, I think that man, he had one mission tonight, and it was, can he run that world standard? And if he couldn't, he was just going to move on with the rest of the season, and we may see him over 5,000 attack that you know, 13:07 mark, which is the World Championship mark over 5,000. So here you are, then this is how the race panned out. If you just missed it, well, how unfortunate for yourself. But Abira was a leader early on as he, after 3,000 metres, decided to go round Johnny Davies, your pacemaker, and decided he was going to push on a Chelimo Ellen, which was very interesting. Just slowly drifted his way to the front all race long. He was non-existent over the first 2 or 3K. And I want to see his splits, because I think he must have been lapping 66s, 67s potentially on those first few laps, and he did have to put in a shift to get up front. Once he got up front, though, boy, did he look supreme, and he just kind of turned the screws. He waited around for a little bit to see if anyone would go with him, but absolutely no one. And Chelimo bringing it home here. Welcome to London, Paul. Well, he's going to have good memories now. But of course, in 2017, he was a World Championship medalist as well.
You've got to wonder whether, you know, he might regret how much he eased into that race. You know, like you said, we barely mentioned his name through the first half, and what a dominant second half performance. When you are that fine margins outside of the qualifying standard, do you think, you know, maybe I should have given it a little bit more, maybe should have pushed myself to the front a little bit earlier, but still, you know, to take the win, and if we were just looking at that, you'd say a brilliant timed race. He'll be getting weighed in a couple of minutes' time on the seesaw. We actually got told earlier, Matt, that he doesn't drink beer, so if you want a free beer tonight, I'd suggest that the man to find would be Paul Chelimo, and we can head down to trackside and Rachel Stringer once again.
Paul Chelimo, congratulations, the champion here tonight. You did it in style. Looked like you loved it out there with all the crowd cheering you on.
Yeah, London crowd is amazing. You know, it was. I mean, I'm speechless. It was amazing. All people out here cheering. It was crazy. It was loud, and 10K is a long way. It's a long ways, but they made it really short. So yeah, I could listen to music. What a good day to enjoy Saturday, you know, Saturday weekend. So I was partying out on the track today.
Your perfect Saturday night out, but actually doing what you love doing, of course. And tell me about your first experience then here. This is your first time here at the night of the 10Ks. Did it live up to the expectations you possibly put on it?
You know, one thing I always say, like, London has been good to me, because I came here, I won the World Championship bronze. The following year I came, I won the Diamond League, the 5K Diamond League. Since then I haven't come back, but today, the night of the PB's 10K, they invited me. I couldn't turn it down, so I gotta come back to London because I'm a big soccer fan too, so yeah.
Who's your team?
Oh, Manchester United. Yeah.
Okay, well, there we go. 27-12 tonight. You broke the meeting record just shy of that World Championship qualifier. Have you got a chance to go out there sometime soon and try and break that?
Yeah, it's still early in the season, and for me, this is a good predictor for of how my season is going to go. So I got to go back to the drawing board, get back to training, got to put in the work, and, you know, it is what it is. You know, like, you show up when you're ready, do what you can do, and if it happens, Budapest is my big goal. So, you know, Kibrom, they believe in me, and they've always wanted the best out of me. So I can't disappoint them. So I have to go back and get the standard.
Absolutely. You've got 2 Olympic medals as well. How does this night compare to those?
Olympic medal is just something special, and I can't take it away. But this is another special thing. Winning it in London with all these fans cheering me out here, I would say definitely it's more fun than Tokyo, because Tokyo there was no fans out there. But this is really fun. So yeah.
Paul Chelimo, it was very special to watch you out there tonight. Congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you get that World Championship qualifying time very soon. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks to the London people. Thanks for supporting me, and I'm happy. I'll be coming back. So
we can't wait to invite you back. We'll see you next year.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, good day for Paul Chelimo on the track. A good day for his team as well, Manchester United. And like he said, he'll be back again, and we can't wait to welcome him back if he's going to bring performances like that every time he steps foot here in London.
Well, obviously the qualifying process for the US so tough. They've got so many good runners, and yeah, he obviously alluded that he's probably going to have to find maybe another fast 10,000 metres somewhere. But I would love to see him in Budapest. You know, those wheels we saw tonight, 58 seconds, looking tired, lapping people after a tough run. Imagine him being a little bit fresher, coming into a last lap burnout. You know, I don't think there's many people that can out-kick him over 10,000 metres. So yeah, I'd love to see him in Budapest.
Well, and also, you know, the time is at stake today, but this man's a racer. He needs competition to squeeze the best out of him, and he didn't have that tonight, and that's credit to him, credit to the shape he was in coming here. But I think you really see the best of Paul Chelimo when there's medals on the line.
And also, I think, you know, the Highgate Harriers and all those volunteers and supporters tonight for the event, I mean, they deserve, you know, a huge, huge thank you. The spectators that turned up tonight have done a great job with their support this year. But I think City of London, that they're going to invest £2 million into this facility. It literally starts this week, I think. You know,